Welcome to the Kendra Woods Show. I'm Kendra Woods, and this is a space for high-achieving women navigating success, self-doubt, and the pressure that often lives beneath it. On this show, we explore the hidden patterns that shape how you lead your life, make decisions, and relate to success. Because success isn't just what you build, it's how you lead yourself. And here, we learn to lead ourselves well. Welcome back to the Kendra Woods Show. This is where we dismantle high-functioning self-doubt in high-achieving women and redefine what it means to truly succeed. Here, we trade pressure for presence, overthinking for self-trust, and performance for power. If you've built success in your life or your business, but internally something still feels unsteady, like your mind is always on, like decisions feel heavier than they should, like you're constantly recalibrating yourself, then you are in the right place. And today's conversation is going to shift how you see absolutely everything. Before we get into today's wonderful conversation, I want to remind you that if this episode speaks to you, Lead Like Her is where we take this work and this conversation deeper. It's a 6-week experience for the woman who's ready to lead herself differently, internally, emotionally, and inside of her business. You can DM me the word lead on Instagram at the Kendra Woods for details. I'll put my Instagram handle and link in the show notes so you can reach out. Okay, so let's have this conversation. I say this often, and what that is you don't need more strategy. You need a different relationship with yourself. Because what I see over and over again with high-achieving women is that they know how to win. They know how to execute. They know how to make things happen. But what they don't always know is how to feel steady while doing it. So on the outside, things are working. But on the inside, there's pressure, there's urgency, there's this constant low-level question of, am I doing enough? Is this right? What if I get this wrong? Am I using the right strategy? Should I maybe think about this a little bit more? Did I just make the right move? And this is where everything starts to shift because this is no longer a strategy problem. This is a self-leadership problem. And so I introduced you to Lead Like Her. And so when I say Lead Like Her, I want to introduce you to who she is. She is not louder. She is not hustling harder. She's not trying to prove anything. She is deeply self-led. She trusts herself, not because everything is certain, but because she is. She makes decisions without spiraling. She moves without needing constant validation. She holds power without tightening and gripping around it. And most importantly, she feels safe inside of her own leadership. And if you're listening to this, there's a part of you that already knows her because she's not someone you become, she's who you return to. She's already there within you. When we talk about stepping into, your next level version or into your highest version of yourself, this is who I'm speaking about. And you're already familiar with this version of you. Again, it's about remembering this version of you and returning to this version of you. So now here's what's important to understand. Most high-achieving women were never taught how to lead themselves this way. They were taught how to push through discomfort, override their intuition, rely on intellect over embodiment, to stay in motion, even when things feel off. And this works until it doesn't. Until you reach a level where overthinking starts creeping in, decisions feel heavier than they should, You start second guessing yourself in ways you didn't before. You feel like you're holding everything together instead of leading it. This is where your next level actually begins, not in doing more, but in leading yourself differently. And I really wish that I was aware of this conversation, back when I was in corporate, because as I've evolved over the years through my work and the work that I do with women, obviously a lot of the work that I do that comes forth is from my own lived experience. And so as I'm tapping into these patterns that I'm sharing with you, it's taken me back to that version of me who was back in her early 30s in corporate, who, again, I would always say, I was so put together on the outside. Everything was working on the outside. I had, I had the right look. I had all the credentials. I had the amazing, corporate position that paid me well. I had the title, I had all the things. But the thing that really eventually led to me leaving corporate and being let go from a corporate position was, again, what we talk about here on the show, this internal pressure, this urgency, that the constant low level, like questioning and stress that was on the inside. And so I'm really glad that we now get to have this conversation and that I get to support high achieving women like you in navigating this, because again, we weren't taught this, right? We were taught to just go out and make it happen, go do the thing, go show up, go execute. And we've become really great at that. And now we get to step into a phase in a season in our lives where we learn how to lead ourselves differently. And this is the work that we do inside of Lead Like Her. Inside of Lead Like Her, we move through what I call the calm authority method. And it's 3 parts: awareness, shift, embodied action. And today I want to walk you through each one because this is how you come back into your power. So let's talk about awareness, part 1. Awareness is where everything begins. But this is not surface level awareness like you're used to hearing about. I'm talking about precision awareness, the ability to see in real time where you override yourself, where doubt enters, where pressure starts building, where you disconnect from your body. Because here's what I know: you cannot lead yourself well if you don't actually know where you're abandoning yourself. So, for example, you're about to make a decision, and your first instinct is clear, it's clean, and then your mind jumps in. Wait, what if that's not strategic? What if this doesn't work? Maybe I should rethink this. That moment right there, that's where your power starts to leak. And this deeper awareness matters because once you see the pattern, you stop unconsciously living inside of it. You create space. And that space is where your power lives. Now, part 2 of the calm authority method is shift. And this is where most women try to skip ahead, okay? They want to just act differently. But if your internal state hasn't shifted, your actions will always carry the same energy. So, shift is about regulating your internal experience. It's about moving out of urgency, calming the nervous system, releasing the need to prove, and returning to a grounded presence. So instead of making a decision from pressure, instead you pause, you breathe, you come back into your body, you let the urgency settle, and from there, your clarity returns. And the shift matters because how you decide matters more than what you decide. And so calm authority isn't about perfect decisions, it's about clean decisions. Clean decisions, clean energy. And after we move through all the phases here of the calm authority method, we're going to talk about what I mean when I say clean energy. So, the last phase of the calm authority method is embodied action. And this is where you move, not from fear, not from pressure, but from self trust. So, embodied action looks like deciding and not spiraling afterward, taking action without over processing it, trusting yourself in motion, not needing constant reassurance or validation. So you make the decision, and instead of checking, 10 times, like, is it working? Are things going the way I think they should? Instead of doing that, you move forward cleanly, powerfully, without collapsing into doubt. And this matters so much because this is what creates momentum, not forced momentum, not the hustle, but self-sourced momentum. The kind that feels steady, the kind that compounds, the kind that actually lasts. And now there's something that I want to name here. And you heard me say the phrase clean energy and making clean decisions earlier. And I want to name this and really speak to this because this is a difference that that version of you who leads herself well feels, even if she's never had language for it. And it's the idea of clean energy. So clean energy in your leadership is when your movement is not distorted by fear, by pressure, the need to prove, for validation, for urgency to see results. It's when your decisions, your actions, your presence aren't carrying anything extra. So let me give you a visual. I'm a visual person, so I'm going to give you a visual. Imagine that you're pouring a glass of water. When the water is clean, it's clear. You can see straight through it. There's no hesitation, no questioning what's in it, no resistance to drinking it, right? It's simple, it's pure, it's trustworthy. Now, imagine that same glass of water, but it's cloudy. There's sediment in it, things floating around that shouldn't be there. So you hesitate, you question it, right? You don't fully trust it. This is how most women are leading. Not because they're doing anything wrong, but because their energy is clouded. Clouded by, again, what if this doesn't work? I need to make sure this is right. I hope this lands. I just need to push a little harder. So even when they take action, that action is carrying distortion, and distortion creates instability. But when you're in clean energy, there's no extra noise attached to what you're doing. You decide and it's clean. You move and it's clean. You speak and it's clean. Now, this doesn't mean you don't have thoughts. It means that your power is not entangled in them. Okay? And this is why the calm authority method matters, because awareness shows you where your energy is getting clouded, where you're leaking energy. Shift clears the distortion, and embodied action is what clean movement actually looks like. And this is the real shift for her. She's not trying to become more confident. She's learning how to remove everything that isn't her power. So when you think about leading like her, this is what's happening beneath the surface. She is aware of herself. She sees when she starts to disconnect. She knows how to shift her state. She doesn't lead from chaos. And she takes embodied action. She trusts herself in motion. And that's why she feels different, not because she's doing more, but because she's leading herself differently. And let me just say this, when we really learn how to lead ourselves differently, and this way that I'm speaking through this like clean leadership, the way that you move through life begins to feel different. It begins to feel lighter. Your business feels lighter. The moves that you make within your business feel lighter. Your career feels lighter. And you begin to recognize how much extra energy and space all that distortion was taking up, and how much of your energy was being sucked in and siphoned off into this distortion. And so when you begin to move from this clean energy, it feels refreshing. It feels refreshing. Your creativity increases, right? Your magnetism increases, your alignment increases. And it's like a domino effect. Everything begins to become more clear. And you might think to yourself, like, wow, like, how did I not see this before? Right? Like ideas and downloads begin to come through that weren't available to you before, that you couldn't access because of all that distortion. And this is exactly the work we're doing inside of Lead Like Her. This is not about giving you more to do. This is about recalibrating how you lead yourself at the highest level. So your success is no longer powered by pressure, but by calm authority. And if you've been listening to this and you feel so seen, you're like, ooh, Kendra is reading me right now. If that's you, if you're recognizing yourself in this, if something in you is like, ooh, okay, this is what I've been missing, I want you to come on over to Instagram and send me a message. Just DM me. You can DM me, Lead Like Her, and I will share the details with you. Now, before we close out our conversation here today, I want you to sit with us. Where in your life right now is your energy feeling clouded? Where are you making decisions with pressure attached to them? And what would change if you allowed those decisions to become clean? Seriously, take a moment today, open your journal, and just contemplate these questions and see what comes up. I think you'd be surprised and also inspired by what comes up. And whatever comes up, it's not about judging yourself. It's not about making yourself feel bad. Again, it's about building awareness so that you can move forward with clean energy. You don't need to become someone new. What you need is to return to the version of you who leads herself well. All right, until next time, lead yourself well.